What's your all-time dumpster? What have you sold that you like, the best thing you've ever sold that you got for free?
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Just rambling about nonsense. So best thing I got absolutely for free.
No, not grifting. We don't grift.
Yeah.
We don't like to grift. But
another trash haul. I was on my way home from work one night, and there was just a bunch of stuff on the side of the road. So of course I gotta stop because that's what you do. And there was just this, like, it's just a bunch of random stuff, and some of it was filthy. I think I got like a broken laptop, and then maybe an office chair, and then there was a tote, and it was full of toys.
Just like
random toys. I didn't even look at what they were. I was just like, whatever, toys. I threw them in the car.
You like selling toys a lot.
I do, but this was just one of those random stupid nonsense. Like, I wasn't even thinking about selling them necessarily. I was just like, why would somebody throw out a box full of toys? Because there was nothing wrong with them. I was just thinking, oh, I'll find somebody else to give them to. But then I got them home, and I get going through them, and there's all these Sonic toys.
Of Hedgehog?
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog toys. And I just said, whatever. I took them all out, lined them up, took like 5 pictures, put it up on eBay of like a starting bid of $20, because I'm thinking, cool, I'll make like $20. And then it sold for like $130.
Holy moly! What era were they from?
Like early 2000s.
So not even that old.
No.
I mean,
no.
Now
I mean, this
old,
was 2015 when I got them,
so
but
not that old.
they were all from like 2006 or 2007, something like that. And it was just like, they were all played with. One of them didn't even have like an arm or a leg or something like that, and it was just like,
that's crazy.
But I just took them all, I bundled them all up, said, if I make $20, I make $20, and then it sold for a lot more than $120. And I was just like, cool. I was happy.
Did anything else from that, like, picking session?
I don't think I even went through the rest of it, because I was like...
What'd you do with it? Donate it? Or you still have it somewhere?
No, I think I just gave them to somebody, because I don't know where they went. But I was getting them out of the trash with the intent of, oh yeah, so-and-so has kids, I'll pull them out and give them to them, and because no point of them all just going in the trash.
So you sold some and then gave the rest.
Yeah. So
interesting. What was the worst thing you picked out of the garbage? Like, what did you pick up and you think, oh yeah, this will make money, and then nothing? Do you have one?
So I used to dumpster dive a lot. In fact, I would probably dumpster dive like 3-4 days a week.
Holy moly! At the apartment or just?
No. So I worked nights, and even before that, I would just I'd be in the Flint area, and I'd hang out with friends till midnight or whatever, and I would just go, and I'd go hit up GameStop, and I'd go to Best Buy, and I'd go.
And you were never in trouble?
No. There was even one time a cop was like, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just rooting around in the trash." He's like, "Okay." And that was it. And,
oh, okay.
And, or like,
I mean, in the area you're in, it's probably a common occurrence, but
like, it's crazy how much stuff just ends up tossed.
Oh, I know.
Like,
it's
brand new,
annoying.
Nothing wrong with it. Best Buy would throw out all of their demo chairs. Like, they would get office chairs and demo them on the floor.
Instead of clearancing them out?
Yeah, and then they would just pitch them.
And
so I supplied like 5 or 6 of my buddies with brand new office chairs where like it's missing one wheel. Well, after like 2 office chairs were pitched, I realized, oh, I need to start harvesting these wheels. I had a small box with office chair wheels, and if I pulled one out, I just went bloop, here you go, buddy, and they got it. But there's one GameStop in the area. It is next to a Wild Bill's Tobacco.
Okay.
And I was going to GameStop because GameStop would throw out their posters and advertisement
That's
stuff.
so crazy.
Crazy, I know, and I would make
They
money.
totally could sell that. I mean, if they discounted it down to $2,
Yeah,
so someone would buy it.
I would pull it out of the dumpster. I would sell it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist for $20 here and there, or even I had a couple in my room on my wall. It was cool because I was, 17 or 18, and but I jumped in the dumpster, and aside from the GameStop stuff, there's all this brand new, it's going to expire Wild Bill's tobacco stuff. And I saw dollar signs. I was like, oh my gosh. Because it was like going to expire within 5 to 6 months. And I was just like, I can sell all this. So I fished it all out of the little dumpster, and then I got doing research, and I was like, I shouldn't sell this because it's tobacco. And I could get massively hammered, and I said, but this was like right when vaping was like becoming a thing, and that's what all this was. It was all the vape stuff. So I had a bunch of coworkers that vaped. I took it all to them, and I was like, you guys can just have all of this. It's going to expire. I pulled it out of the dumpster. You guys can have it. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah. They thought it was the best. I didn't make a single dime. They did buy me lunch a few days. So we woo, but like, that was at a place where we already got free food. So it was just
so you
like
didn't fully think through the Wild Bill's tobacco.
Because I was 18.
How'd you get into dumpster diving?
YouTube.
Okay, fair. I watched a documentary called Dive, which is mostly a food waste documentary. Maybe some of you have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I think I have.
It's interesting, and also like shows what a crime, like how much, even just in the U.S. The waste is immeasurable.
Yeah. If you just did just the food.
That was just food.
That is thrown out. It is deplorable that there are any hungry people in America.
Stuff that's not even out of date yet.
Yeah.
And also stuff like fruits and vegetables don't really have a date. It's just based on whether or not they're rotten or not. And so, one bad thing in the bunch, and then they've thrown out the whole thing. And on top of that, just like the dates are more or less suggestions, like especially Best Buy dates. Like there are some things that are really like, obviously like fish. You might want to follow the guideline, but there's a lot of things that it's not like some magic day that things go bad. You know what I mean? Sometimes they go bad before the date, and sometimes, 2 months later, or 2 weeks later, depending on what it is. If you've had it in your fridge and your fridge is really cold, it's fine. And so, like when you factor in all those things, it's like such a crime. But that's just the food. That documentary was just the food waste, and I know that there's so much other stuff going to waste. Out there, but so you just were on YouTube and stumbled up on it.
I started watching YouTube videos. People were dumpster diving and just pulling out everything and anything, and I was like, that looks like fun. I'm gonna do that. And so I just went one time.
Did you do it by yourself?
Yeah, a lot of times by myself. Every once in a while I would go. Like I had a buddy tag along with me a couple times. I would take my brother sometimes. In fact, there was one time my brother and I went on a trip, and we ran all the way up to Traverse City, and we're just putzing around in Traverse City, and he's like, there's a GameStop over there. And we went dumpster diving at the GameStop, because why not? Generally I did it by myself.
You weren't scared to do it?
The first couple of times, yeah. But I had times when I was doing it, and employees would come out, and they'd be like, because I was there like either really early in the morning, or around that time where I thought everybody would be gone, and it turns out, oh, Jim's still in the office, and he'd be like, you okay? Can I help you? Oh, I'm just fishing cans and stuff out of the dumpster. Oh, okay. And I would collect a minimum of like $20-25 worth of recyclables every week.
For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
Michigan has deposits on our anything with carbonation, and it has a 10-cent deposit. So if you pick up cans, you can make some money. I canned one summer. I called it canning, where I just like picked up roadside cans and stuff. I paid like $60.
Yeah.
Just out of, and I got my exercise walking around picking up cans.
And that's just one of those things. No, people already pay that tax.
Yep.
And they throw it in the trash.
It's free money. Yeah.
But the first couple.
It's actually illegal to throw out a can with a deposit, technically.
Yeah.
No one enforces it, but it's technically against the law here to throw out those recyclables.
But
interesting.
In the first few times I went, I didn't find anything. I was so nervous about it, so I'd get in the dumpster, I'd grab one bag, open it up, and go, okay, and then I'd just leave. But eventually, I just did it enough where it was like, oh, whatever. The best time to go, though, was like right after Black Friday or right after Christmas time, because they would throw out like all this extra merch that either was supposed to sell at Black Friday and didn't, or like I would go to AT&T and Verizon, and they would have an influx of customers come in, and then those customers would go, oh, we don't want this, or we don't want this, or they would return electronics that they don't want anymore. I've pulled out like 2 or 3 tablets out of the trash.
That worked?
Yeah, nothing wrong with them.
I don't understand.
And what's crazy
How
is...
does an employee take the thing out there that they know is perfectly good and throw it in the garbage?
Yeah. Or like, when you buy a phone and it comes with thing of headphones and phone charger, some of those, I think it was like the phone display model, but they would throw all that extra stuff in the trash. And so I got like endless headphones and phone chargers and...
That's crazy. Why'd you stop? Now I know you did when you lived in the apartment until a few months ago.
Yeah.
You did some dumpster diving there. I know
because even there, like even just living in an apartment, people throw stuff out.
Yeah, I would say especially living in an apartment because people are a little more transient.
Yeah, and in fact, we would have people come in not living in the apartments, and they would fill the dumpsters with like people who were moving out of their own houses and stuff.
I think that also might be illegal.
That is definitely illegal. But then I would go and pilfer through. In fact, there was one time you could tell that somebody was mad at their boyfriend.
Oh no!
Because it was all guy stuff and like his weights and video games and a whole bunch of stuff spread throughout a couple different dumpsters, bags full of beer cans and stuff, and I made out like a bandit that day.
Be careful with who you live with, y'all.
Yeah. But I mainly stopped because one was time. Like, it does take a lot of time, and sometimes I would go and literally find nothing.
Right.
Or like, even though I'd go, and sure, there's trash in there, but there's nothing worth taking. And a few places, like, there's another video game resell store. I would dumpster dive there too. And they actually asked me, don't come back anymore, and I said, no problem, and I never did. But aside from that, I never had any other bad encounters. It was just a matter of time, and it's gross a little bit. I actually fished that out of the dumpster too. I had one of these trays. It said United States Postal Service on the side of it, and it was broken. And so someone threw it out. I don't even remember which dumpster I pulled it out of, but it was something I fished out, and I said, cool, and I duct taped it, and I said, that's my dumpster dive box. And I had a pair of those rubber latex gloves. That way because
food or whatever.
Oh, mainly chew tobacco.
Like, it's just because the GameStop was adjacent to the...
Well, no, that wasn't even, like...
Who's chewing that much tobacco?
I don't know. But there'd be sometimes I'd rip open a bag, and that
stuff's nasty.
Yeah, they'd spit it in bottles and then put a cap on it.
I am familiar. I've had relatives.
Throw the whole bottle right in the bag and...
Yes, I am familiar with that. I had a cousin who has now since quit that used to do that, and like pop bottles were the spittoon of choice. Very gross, in my opinion.
A little sidebar. So one of my buddies, growing up, when he started chewing, he did soda bottles.
He did the wrong one time, didn't he? I thought it was his pop, and it was not his pop.
Because he drank Diet Pepsi, and he used his Diet Pepsi
Instant
and grabbed. Oh my gosh, so funny to hear him talking about that.
I bet he wanted to throw up. Ugh.
Probably.
And that was his own.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's happened where it wasn't.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But yeah. All right, that's an aside.
Yeah.
It's interesting that that's what you ran into though, because I really don't know that many people that chew. So it's interesting that you.
I had that like 3 different times,
That's
different
so strange.
places too, which is the weird part. And after the first time, I said, "Oh, I definitely want better gloves," because I just had like some cloth back gloves. I threw those right out and was just. I went to Walmart, I think, because it was the only place open at like 5 in the morning.
About better gloves.
It was just like, wash hands now.
Yeah.
But,
that is gross. You probably would run into that more down south than you would up here.
Yeah, probably.
It is interesting that is what sticks out. Because I would think like food, obviously. Because you go in and like they have their lunch or whatever.
Or like spilled, dump the whole thing of soda or whatever. But I definitely had 3 bad instances where it was just like, oh gosh, that was chew. Oh.
Nasty. Would you do it again if your calendar cleared up?
I think, well, maybe not. I think part of it is I do enjoy doing it. Like I said, I got some stuff brand new, still in the package, nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a clearance ticket on it, and then eventually they just crossed the whole thing out, and that went in the trash because businesses get a kickback for the loss of goods, which is bonkers. But if I did do it again, I'd be selective on when I would go. I wouldn't go on like a consistent weekly basis or anything, but choose like,
post-holiday or whatever.
Yeah, like post-holiday, or like this is the big, like when everybody's getting their new shipment of fall stock.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go out.
Season transitions, basically.
Yeah, basically.
That makes sense, when they would be clearing out shelves to stock new stuff.
But I don't think I'll ever stop. That's interesting on the side of the road. I'm going to go grab that just because this year alone, I think I've pulled like 3 or 4 tables off the side of the road, a bookcase, a couple chairs, like other stuff that I've sold on Facebook Marketplace or put up on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
People are generally wanting to get rid of stuff and don't want to take the extra time to do it themselves. And when it comes to hauling it right out to their trash, that's easy.
Some people put stuff out next to the trash too, I think with the intention of assuming that someone will pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, my dad scraps, which I've mentioned before, and he's had people like putting something onto the road and then they like look right at him, like, you're gonna take this, right? Like knowing that someone's gonna pick it up and kind of wanting them to, but they don't want to sell it or don't want to figure out how to dispose of it otherwise. So I think there's some of that, and then some of the just convenience issue. And I think when you lived in the apartment, that made sense. Like, people sometimes have to leave now, and they don't always have the space in the new place, or they don't want to transport it or whatever, and they just have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
The same thing with college move-outs.
Yeah, I do want to go to a bunch of college move-outs because that would be really fun.
And we live close to a couple of college towns too, which is when I say close, I mean within our realm, a reasonable day's drive. Not a whole day, but a reasonable day trip.
Be a lot of fun, just because I've seen the videos where people are like,
that would be an interesting video.
We got 2 mini fridges, 7 bikes, and this and that.
Well, in particular, when you're talking about large universities, you're talking about sometimes international students that are going to other programs in other states, or they're leaving the country to go home, and so it's not practical sometimes to get those bigger items. They pack their clothes and their really personal items, and all the furniture is out to the road.
Yeah.
So it would be really interesting. That'd make an interesting video, actually.
Yeah.
Going to a college move out day, or move out week. But yeah, I don't know. What other sources of free stuff do you have? Like, that's legit and not like...
Aside from... Well, you see, you go into the store late at night. No. I've had people, like, by just telling them that, oh, I'm selling stuff online. People go, oh, I'm going to take this to Goodwill anyway. Do you want to take it? And I'm like, sure. And sometimes by doing that, I get things that I'm like, and it goes to Goodwill anyway. But I've also made money where it's been like, oh, this was going to go to Goodwill. And sometimes, let's say it has an average price point of $20. So I might list it at that $18, $20. And then if somebody sends me an offer, I don't care because I got it for nothing.
Yeah, you just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. My cousin who does resell has had stuff that either she got from other people or like, I know most recently when we had our, around the time we were planning our garage sale earlier this year, she said that she had she was just going to take stuff to donate. She was trying to clean out her house and she had too much stuff and everything. And she's like, hey, you want to take this and go through it and see if there's anything you want to sell? So we pulled some stuff out of it. We sold some in the garage sale for her, and that kind of thing. And also my dad, when he's scrapping, sometimes picks up stuff that maybe could be scrapped, but might be better sold otherwise. Yeah. Or stuff that's not really scrap metal, but is worth looking into. And in those cases, sometimes we eventually I probably will set up an eBay for his stuff, so it's separate from ours. But we have listed it for them before, and then we take like a 20% cut. Yeah. And then they get the rest. And so in those ways, we've sometimes gotten free things, or occasionally like maybe not free, but like you go to an estate sale and you're bundling, so you're not paying.
It's practically
anything.
Free.
Yeah.
Or even just
garage sales sometimes have free boxes or whatever you can take stuff from. But yeah, I would say those are probably the main. For us, I have never done dumpster diving, but it's intriguing, but not that bold yet. But
no, I was just about to say, can you get those sawhorses out of the trash from the site? But that wasn't. That was Lydia. We got those sawhorses out of the trash. But yeah,
I did pull a table, a coffee table. I saw my neighbors, who are no longer my neighbors because they sold their house and moved, but I saw them pulling a table out to the road, and I yelled that I could, because of the position of our porch, it's up high, and so I kind of like overlook parts of the neighborhood, and I was out on the deck, and I looked and saw them pulling it out there, and I just yelled over there, like, hey, are you getting rid of that? And I ended up pulling that, and I was going to use that for our set here, and we haven't set it up yet, but maybe once we get this room redone, we can bring in the coffee table. Yeah. The free coffee table. But yeah, I don't stop for stuff on the side of the road as much as I maybe ought to. But I have before.
There have been times I've stopped for stuff on the side of the road, and I get looking at one thing out of it, and then it's like, oh, I didn't even see this stuff as I was driving by, and I end up with more in my car than what I want. But
we were out walking our dog, and one of our neighbors a couple streets down had put out a table post garage sale that had free written right on it. And so I selected a couple of things off the table. I got a cookbook and ice tray or whatever. So I'm not against the occasional. I did rescue a couple of bins from the garbage in our neighborhood one time too, because we walk our dog. I live in that kind of neighborhood where you could just walk around, and so sometimes you're walking right past someone's garbage and you're just gonna like peek in, see what's there, make sure it's not worth taking. So I have done that before. But yeah. Interesting.
It's weird what people will throw out.
Good stuff sometimes. Good stuff.
Yeah. Instead of just going click Facebook Marketplace, even if they posted on there and said free, and said it's going to the curb. Yep. That would be better than just what some people do, where they just haul it out.
Or join a buy nothing group.
Yep.
Or a free group on, like we have one for our area that's for a few surrounding towns, including mine, and you can offer stuff up for free, and a lot of times people will come pick it up from you because it's
Yeah.
free. So there's a lot of avenues. So it's not ideal to throw your stuff out to the garbage if you have other options. But
and in that respect too, if you're starting out or wanting to get started in reselling, you don't have to throw money at it. You could join one of those free groups, and although I think a lot of those have like stipulations, like we're not trying to.
I personally don't take stuff from our free group to sell usually, and I wouldn't without disclosing it.
Yeah, but you can even scour Facebook Marketplace, and sometime like I got
side of the road.
Yep, I got a couple bags of clothing for free off there, and that turned into I think about $60 worth of eBay sales, which isn't a ton.
Pretty good.
And then the whatever didn't sell or wasn't going to be able to sell, I think I just put into my donate bin because they were like, yeah, it's going to go to Goodwill.
I would even tell your family and friends like that you want to do this, and that if they have things they want to get rid of, that they are just literally going to take to Goodwill anyway.
Yeah.
To let the corporate make profit off of.
$5.99
tell them that you'd love
for
to
one
look at it,
T-shirt.
Yeah, I think sometimes just like you said, people knowing that you do it will just give to you because they don't want to deal with it, which is their prerogative. It is work.
Yeah.
It's work to clean things and work to list things and work to ship things. So not everybody's into that, and that's fine. But if they know you are, they might come your way. But other than that, I think side of the road's great. You can rescue a lot of stuff from the landfill, and we all have seen the alters to our overconsumption as we drive down the road. So the less things that make the mound bigger, the better.
Right. It is just baffling.
I just think sometimes when I pass humongous landfills, and as you know, there are several in the metropolitan areas around us that are gigantic. I'm just thinking of all the things that were probably good that are still in that landfill, like,
and will be
forever.
Yep.
And even things like, money gets thrown away. Like, and here all the cans, the pop cans that get thrown away.
Doing dumpster diving, that was one of the things I pulled out. I pulled a $20 bill out of the dumpster once.
In what?
Well, it was at GameStop. I'm just going through a bag, and I ended up coming across a big envelope, and it said raffle money. And I said, huh. And I opened it up, and there's all these little envelopes inside. So I open up each one, and it was like empty to empty, $20 bill.
Like, that's a pretty good payday for jumping in this dumpster. Yeah.
I laughed, and I was like, awesome. So
gift cards too, I think sometimes. Maybe not the commercial ones, but in private.
I feel probably some gift cards get pitched, because sometimes people come in and they spend, $18.95 and they still have $1 whatever, and they don't care.
Yep.
But I've never
gotten any.
No, I never worried about trying to scan through gift cards and to go, maybe it's got something. So
with that cold hard cash every time. Or the cans, which are cash here.
Right.
So I do think about that when I go past a giant dump, like how much stuff is in there. So much, but it is what it is. I'm not about going dig around there. So. Dumpsters are one thing, like the dump, hold everything. Although what was really interesting is we visited. I had a friend who was living in California at the time, years ago, and I went and visited her, and one of their dumps in like their city or like a neighboring city, literally had like a thrift store attached.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where like you could go to the dump and like buy secondhand goods.
That's pretty cool.
Come in. So I'm assuming they I know different places have different trash pickup.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people have to take their trash places or take their recyclables. So I don't know exactly how it worked, if it's like you could just donate stuff to the dump thrift store, or if it's like they noticed stuff and then
that's probably what it is. They probably noticed something and said yoink, because listening to another podcast, Theo Von, he had a dumpster truck driver on his show, and this guy was from Manhattan.
Oh gosh, I can only imagine things that get thrown out there.
He said that guy had a coworker who made over $1 million by picking up stuff that went to the curb. it took him a few years to do, but every time there was something on the side of the road, he said, I'm taking that home. I'm taking that home.
In Manhattan? Yeah.
Yeah. And he ended up putting $1 million in his account over the course of, I think he said 10 years.
That's insane, but I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're thinking of a place like Manhattan, which high end,
yeah.
expensive goods probably were going. Someone decided they were redecorating their, $5 million apartment.
Yeah. And just all this
dumped it
furniture just right to the curb.
Which, I mean, it probably happens a lot in New York because it
New
really
York.
is hard. I mean, not even just the value of things, but it's hard to move stuff.
Yeah.
Like everyone's living in an apartment or like something like that, some sort of similar situation. Most people live in apartments, and a lot of people don't even have a car.
Yep.
So like, you can't take it anywhere really.
Yeah.
So up to the road it goes. I guess if you redecorate, or you're something slightly worn out, you throw it out.
Yeah.
But
so
that's really interesting.
That there's always money for those who want to put in effort and work.
Yep.
This is how
That's
it is.
really interesting. But I thought the thing in California was interesting too. A dump that also.
I wish more dumps would do something like that.
It would be nice.
Because even if they just said, yeah, it's $10, $20 or whatever, because one, it's generating more income for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's saving that stuff from actually going into the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or it's just gonna sit.
Yeah.
And very slowly degrade.
Yep.
I think too, like it'd be cool if it was a situation where you could donate stuff to the dump instead of throwing it in your garbage and get like a small discount on your like waste pickup.
There
like,
you go.
Oh, okay. You save $10 this bill because you
brought
stuff to the dump instead of having us pick it up at your house. Yeah, that would be an interesting business model, but I don't think anyone around here does that kind of thing.
No, I don't
They've
think
not
so.
like figured out how to monetize all that trash they're taking.
Yeah. Now I'm just picturing them like having a Sunday pick day, and you can come and pay like $30 or whatever, and you can pick as much as you want out of the dump.
It would be interesting. It's kind of too bad that they don't have like a separate truck that picks up like furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like things that are obviously not gross garbage.
Because they already have like a separate vehicle for recycling.
Or yard waste a lot
yeah.
of times. So it would be nice. That would be kind of an interesting business model for we've gotten way off topic.
Yeah.
For like a trash company to have a truck that literally goes through cities and they only pick up the stuff that's left outside of the trash can, like stuff that you can look at and know that okay, that's not gross, and like just collect it, because people will throw weed whips out, snowblowers. If you're one of those people who don't live in a cold area.
How many grills every spring?
My dad's grill is one he picked up scrapping.
Yep.
Grills, everything, any kind of small equipment you can think of gets thrown to the dump at some point. Furniture, all kinds of furniture gets thrown to the garbage. Kids' toys sometimes, big like kids' toys when they outgrow them.
Yeah.
And like if you could have a situation where you just send a truck around to do that, that would be the easiest way. They could literally have a store.
But then everybody who goes and picks up the trash would be able to get it.
They would just have to get there before the trash run, which you have to do anyway.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, which is interesting. Huh, maybe I gave somebody an idea. Maybe we should be doing it. Maybe we should start a trash company.
A trash haul company. Actually, I mean, because one of the things I would like to do if I had more time is put advertisements out and go, hey, if you have a bunch of stuff in your basement or your garage, you don't want to deal with it, I'll pay me, I'll come haul it. And whatever is trash will go to the trash, and whatever's not will go in my barn, So.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. But
don't steal it.
No, don't steal it.
I guess
Do
if you live with us, don't steal our idea. If you don't live near us, please steal it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff going to waste, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
We have so much waste in this country that no one should be lacking for anything, really. I don't even think that's a controversial topic. I think that's like known.
That's it.
That's it. Anyway, thanks for joining us. This was a weird conversation, but hey, subscribe, let us know what you think. If you think our topic was stupid, throw that down there. We don't care. Engagement is engagement. But anyway, happy thrifting, or as it were,
Picking.
picking.
See ya.
Bye.